Heya Cryptozens, tonight's show. Terra Luna's legacy. U.S. House introduces Bitcoin 401k protections. Arthur Hayes sentenced to probation. It's 10 p.m. Pacific time. The date is May 21st, 2022. Welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. I'm your host, Nick. The cover model for this podcast is Tex, and together we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space and the industry that surrounds it. So take a minute, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast now, because we're here at 10 p.m. each and every night so that you can have the crypto news analysis that you need to start your day. And keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. Lehman Brothers is a term that I hear tossed around a lot where this whole Terra Luna Black Swan event is concerned. Specifically the bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers Holdings Incorporated. And I could never do the entire topic justice. So it's not my intent to do a deep dive comparison between the two events. But what I do want to do is take a look at what the fallout is for the Terra Luna saga so far. One of the biggest victims, I think, is the Terra economy itself. Really the developers and the projects. Before the depegging of UST, the blockchain had a rich ecosystem, and not just liquidity protocols. Things like games and NFT marketplaces. Now, we've covered a couple of blockchains that have put forth offers to Terra blockchain development teams and projects, both Phantom and Polygon. They have both reached out to the development communities and offered a lifeline. Binance, they are following suit. They're welcoming developer teams and offering project support. They've committed themselves to providing both investment and support for teams considering moving to the BNB chain. Stater Labs is going to be one of the first, and frankly, they're a good candidate for this. They have plenty of cross-chain experience. Their whole business model is providing liquidity staking across 4 different blockchains: Solana, Near, Phantom, and Hedera. So it seems like it might be simpler for Stater to cross over. They're just going to do it by offering BNB staking. What this means is customers will be able to stake Binance coin in Stater and get yields, which is normal. It also means Stater can issue staking derivatives. What this means is users could make use of their representations of BNB holdings in DeFi protocols. In addition to Stater, a bunch of projects have been involved with the Binance chain to some degree or another. Mirror, Synapse, Wormhole, they've already been something of a bridge between the two worlds. So, the BNB Chain Fund, that team is committed to supporting Terra ecosystem refugees. They're offering network, tokenomic, and marketing support as well as business development. And we've already talked about Polygon and CEO Wyatt and how they're offering migration support. Phantom as well. Now you can add Telos to that list. They're offering grants and investments for stranded projects. AG Dinger is their head of business development, and they said, quote, "We feel for the talented teams and projects that have fallen victim to the collapse of Terra. We know many of you are long-term builders of the Web3 future, and for those that are looking for a blockchain that shares your long-term vision, you will find an amazing home at Telos." They also said they would help you out with fast tracking apps and that they were already working on the Terra blockchain. Their offer includes investment, marketing support, and technical assistance. While the Terra ecosystem developers might have a place to go, the product itself might have nowhere to be. Here's why I say that. Coinbase Cloud. That's right. The Coinbase exchange has a cloud service. Coinbase Cloud is their blockchain API and cloud service, and it's going to stop working for Terra blockchain. Coinbase said it's their infrastructure arm, and they put out a tweet recently, kind of a warning actually. They said that they're going to stop supporting the Terra ecosystem. And it's not looking good for future efforts named Terra either. Their tweet said, quote, "Through speaking with customers and ecosystem participants, we are making a tough decision to wind down support for the Terra ecosystem. We are discontinuing support for the existing Terra chain and are not planning to support a potential new Terra chain at this time. So yeah, it might not even matter what happens with the vote, because win, lose, or draw, no matter what the community decides to do about forking or not, either way, it doesn't sound like Coinbase is inclined to support Terra 2.0. And that particular thread went on to say that they were thankful for the opportunity to support Terra's builders and that they're looking at how to help their customers, quote, how to best roll off Terra and hope that everyone impacted by this event can come back stronger and continue building for the future of Web3. At the time of writing, the global crypto market cap is $1.26 trillion. It's up 0.89% in 24. The top 5 cryptos by market cap are Bitcoin up 0.87%, Ethereum up 0.83%, Tether, USDC, and Binance Coin up 3.25%. Byron Donalds is a member of the U.S. House of Representatives. He's a Republican in service to the people of Florida. And Representative Donalds thinks that you should be able to include Bitcoin in your 401k if you choose to do so. It's called the Financial Freedom Act, and it was introduced on May 20th. This bill, if passed, allows Americans to hold Bitcoin and most other types of financial assets in their 401k retirement portfolios. It's a companion piece to one submitted by Senator Tommy Tuberville. He's a Republican for Alabama, and he introduced the bill containing the exact same language. That was introduced on the 5th of May. So the reason for this bill is the Labor Department, because last March they released some regulatory guidance, and that regulatory guidance advises against investment firms allowing digital assets in their 401ks. A, quote, far-reaching and sweeping endeavor to centralize power in Washington. That's how Donalds characterized the Labor Department's comments. He said it, quote, infringes on the founding principles of economic liberty and free markets. Now, Donalds, he says that he has support from several members of the House. Representatives Davidson from Ohio, Kim from California, Schweikert from Arizona, and Emmer from Minnesota. Emmer's been out front on a number of crypto-related issues lately. In addition to the state members of Congress, the Financial Freedom Act also has the support from the Blockchain Association and the Chamber of Digital Commerce. The global NFT market cap is up over $10.94 billion. Sales volume is up 6.82% in 24 hours. According to CoinMarketCap, the top 5 NFT collections by sales volume are Chimpers, followed by Other Deed, Return of Legends Season 4, Bored Apes, and Return of Legends Season 1. Co-founder and one-time CEO of the crypto derivatives platform BitMEX, Arthur Hayes was able to convince authorities to spare him any prison time. And while he's not going to spend any time in prison, which he could very well have gotten, instead he's got a probation sentence and something we're all familiar with by now, home confinement. 2 years of probation, 6 months of his sentence are under house arrest. So here's the story. It starts off with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC. In late 2020, the CFTC made an accusation against BitMEX's company founders. They accused the 3 founders, Arthur Hayes, Benjamin Dalo, and Samuel Reed, of operating a digital exchange without taking appropriate anti-money laundering safeguards. So, BitMEX, the company, was assessed a penalty to the tune of $100 million. Hayes, Dalo, and Reed all had to step down from their positions. Now, Hayes, for his part, he filed a request through his lawyers. And his request was for leniency in his sentencing, which happened yesterday. U.S. District Judge John Coletel handed down his sentence, and he granted the request for leniency. So that's why he got probation and not prison. He's going home and not to the big house. And the prosecutor, they are rarely in favor of that kind of leniency. So several of the U.S. prosecutors said Hayes should have gotten a much stricter punishment, more severe, something that sends a message to the crypto industry. Samuel Raymond is an assistant U.S. attorney. He told the judge this is a very serious offense, which I think is hilarious. An attorney lecturing a judge on how serious an offense is. Anyway, he said, quote, "There were real consequences. When individuals like Mr. Hayes operate platforms without anti-money laundering programs or know your customer programs, they become a magnet for people to launder money." And he's concerned about the message sent from what he calls a light sentence. He said a light sentence would, quote, "send a message to him that the cost of doing business is merely a fine, and he could continue to violate the law for huge amounts and pay any fine. This case is being closely watched by cryptocurrency exchanges and other companies around the world." And there is an argument to be made that it was quite lenient. Because Hayes, he could have gotten wrecked. Based on what they got him on, what he pled guilty to was a serious offense. It's the Bank Secrecy Act. He admitted to, quote, "willfully failing to establish, implement, and maintain an anti-money laundering program at BitMEX." So, yes, pleading guilty to supporting money laundering is a big offense. Hayes could have gotten 5 years for that. However, he pled guilty ahead of his March trial date, so it's not like he waited until he was partway through and thought he was dying and then asked for help. And he also had to pay $10 million in fines. Part of this leniency probably comes from the fact that he made it easy on them. He voluntarily surrendered to the U.S. authorities in Hawaii. So he was surrendered, he was indicted, and according to court public filings, Hayes was released after posting $10 million in bond. Now, he knew he could get 5 years, because that's the maximum sentence for that, and it's quite often handed down. He still pled guilty instead of pushing an expensive and long-lasting court trial. So, things like showing up and surrendering and pleading out, that's probably why he's at home and not in a federal penitentiary somewhere. And the problem of money laundering, while not widespread, has a lot of people's attention. So, in a way, this was good for the industry. It adds to the narrative that it's not easy to get away with laundering money on the blockchain. There was that couple in New York. Remember the rapper Razzle Khan? Better known as Heather Morgan and her husband Ilya Lichtenstein. They were caught conspiring to launder $4.5 million in stolen crypto. They had almost 120,000 Bitcoin that came from the Bitfinex hack. And they couldn't move it. Not really. $500 Walmart cards. That's how they were spending $4.5 billion in stolen crypto. $500 on a Walmart card at a time. So yeah, that musty old tired story about crypto just helps money laundering is a bit out of step with reality. Now, for his part, Hayes, he took full responsibility for his actions. He promised he was, quote, "ready to turn the page and start again." We'll see, Mr. Hayes. I do wish you the best of luck. And that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed tonight's show, like, comment, and subscribe. Give us a glowing review, because that helps other people find their way to this podcast. And that is the reason that we're here each and every night at 10 p.m. so we can bring you the crypto news analysis that you need to start your day. You can find us on podcasting platforms everywhere or on YouTube. Do you have questions or comments? Reach out and let us know. The email address is nick@cryptoovernighter.com. That's nick@cryptoovernighter.com. And as always, may all of your investments go up and to the right.